You know, it's strange. When I was getting ready for this show with The Office, I looked and you know what I noticed first is The Office itself, the show The Office. It's not a show that's a very favorable to women. It doesn't put women in a very good light. You know, it's surprising. And it's a show that you wouldn't even think of that way. So like what I said, when I was looking into doing the Office item shop, I realized, you know, they really don't do the best job. Think of it for a second. You know, you have Pam. Pam is cheating on her fiance with Roy. You got Angela, who ends up cheating on Andy with Dwight. And in fact, Angela is like alleged to have another affair even earlier than that with two guys fighting over. It's very strange how bad, you know, they make all of them look. Even, you know, you look at Meredith. You know, Meredith prostitutes herself for a couple steaks. She clearly has filmed herself doing porn. She flashes herself to Michael. You know, it's not a show that really, you know, really doesn't put women in the best light. It's very strange. It doesn't get that kind of reputation. And I really didn't even notice it until I started looking because I was going to do this whole thing with The Office and, you know, check everybody out. And I realized, wow, they do not do a good job. Kelly Kapoor, you know, she cheats with Ryan with the doctor. She marries a doctor, cheats on her with Ryan. You know, she cheats on Daryl with Ryan. It's really you know, the only moral one might be Phyllis. You know, what does Phyllis really do? She's like the grandmother. Even Erin, the receptionist, they make her so sweet, but she cheats on Andy with Pete. You know, I never really noticed till I sat down and looked at how bad. This is Michael Scott right here. You know, he looks pretty much like him. You know, everything looks right. The mannerisms. He looks a little too young. Maybe there's something wrong. Maybe the nose isn't big enough or something. I mean, they got a pretty decent size on there, but it looks like him, you know. I feel like Michael's a pretty responsible, pretty reasonable guy on the show. You know, when he finds out that he's dating a married woman, he does stop it, you know. He does try to set a Toby, though, so I guess a felony is something. That's Mike from Britney Bitch Mike. This is Party Mike, you know. Party Mike, you know, he was one of those where that's where he meets the girl. He meets the married lady and then breaks it off. They should have had the Mike where he has the dummy on the head. You know, two-headed Mike would have been funny. I feel like they missed out right there. It would have been better than Date Mike, you know. Date Mike is all right, but it would have been a lot funnier if you had the two-headed Mike from that Halloween show. I think that would have been good. And they also missed out. They should have had the two cars. They'd had at least the Sebring, at least have the convertible Sebring. They should have a convertible in this game. And a convertible Sebring would be great. You know, at least put that car in. Michael's car in would be great. So, yeah, the character's not bad. Looks like him. Looks a little too young for him, though. And then let's take a look at the Dwight character. Dwight's another guy. I feel like he's relatively moral. You know, except that he gets involved with the... you know, gets involved with Angela, who's married at the time, or being married, fiance. So, and Dwight, he has some violence problems, you know. Shoots a gun. Looks good with the mustard shirt. Not bad. Can't really complain. I think it looks a lot more like, I think he looks more like him than the Michael one. With the shirt off, I kind of like the banana. It's not bad, but they could have given him Chinese stars. Could have given him a lot of stuff. This is with the mask off. This is with the CPR dummy mask. You know, I don't think they did a good job there because it looks actually scarier in the show. That one looks, I don't know, it just doesn't look right. It just looks like they got a little lazy with it. The Office, this whole thing could have been better. I mean, how do you not have anything without a That's What She Said on it? You know, you got to have something. World's Best Boss, Michael's mug. You know, that's a nice callback. Mega Desk looked nothing at all like this. Nothing at all. It was the three desks put together that he gets hooked on when Jim's out, you know, but it didn't look like this at all. No megaphone, you know, at least you got the bobblehead there, but I don't know. Kevin Shoes, you know, Kevin, another guy. They don't treat the men as bad on The Office. You know, Kevin had a gambling problem, but that was about it. Other guys had his heart broken. There's the car for Dwight, but should have made it a full car.
Move to the side of the road. Pull over.
It's all right. It's all right. Got a couple voices. This is bad. You know,
You meet new friends, you tie some yarn, and that's
one of the worst episodes ever. The Scarn. It was garbage. Should have done the dance when he was on the boat. The boat dance was great. There was just better things to do. Or that's what she said. How do you not just give him an emote? That's what she said. Fits everywhere. Really, very weak. Very weak. This is the a harvesting tool. I think it's from the one where he kills the vampire, or he thinks Jim's a vampire. Pretty good episode. A lot of the episodes were good ones. You know, the best one was probably the dinner party episode with Jan. And Jan doesn't even look good either. You know, as far as character, she hooks up with underage guys. Jan, you know, she's again another character. It's the Dundee, which is another. The Dundies were funny, but the Dundee where she you know. Jan throws it through the TV. That one where they're all over there for the dinner party. That's probably one of the best episodes of all time. But again, even another woman portrayed very badly. Jan's portrayed badly. The married lady that hangs out with Mike is portrayed badly. There's not a lot of women they portray well in this entire. You know, of course, there's some guys they don't portray well either. You have, you have Todd Packer, who poisons, commits 12 felonies by poisoning everybody. You got Creed, who basically runs a fake ID outfit, probably killed somebody. Definitely killed somebody. He's on the Halloween one. He was all bloody. He was in a cult, So I guess we can't call Creed one of the good ones. Some of the guys get treated badly, but they're pretty soft on Jim. I mean, they're soft on Pam too, but Pam does cheat. What does Jim really do? Maybe he lies to her once or twice, And Toby's a pretty moral guy too, except that he could be the Scranton Strangler. I mean, that's his only negative. But they do pretty well on the guys overall compared to the women, which is it's very odd. And in fact, there's a lot more degenerate behavior than you would expect on The Office. You really wouldn't expect as much as it has on it. A lot of people committing felonies. You know what I'm saying? I mean, Ryan's doing drugs all the time. He abandons a baby to go hang out with freaking Kelly. So Ryan's got his problems. Jim's hooking up with married women, or at least she's engaged. I'll tell you, Roy comes out number one. That's why they give him the great ending. I feel like Jim and Pam eventually break up. Jim's business goes under. He becomes an alcoholic. Blows out his brains or something, you know what I mean? That's what it feels like. She tries to get back with Roy now that Roy's got all the money. They give Kevin a gambling problem. Oscar hooks up with Angela's husband. Oscar's the gay character. So, I guess everybody's got some moral problems, but it really feels like they dump on the women, the Fortnite. Not the Fortnite, the Office. But Fortnite, he didn't do a great job with this. It could have been better. I'm stunned as though that's what she said. I guess I'm kind of stuck on that because that's what she said made the whole freaking show. That was the running joke forever. I don't even know if these new kids know any of this, but whoever did The Office, it didn't look like they were that interested in making it great. Really doesn't. Doesn't look like they were doing anything too special at all on the whole freaking show. It's like they just kind of put it up for a money grab, and I don't think it's that popular. I think they should have done Jim and Pam. I guarantee you would have seen more people with Jim and Pam buying than with this Office bundle. Not that it was great, not that it was the best, but I don't know. Great show, though. I enjoyed the show a lot, The Office. I didn't even realize how bad they treated the women in it until I really got to this, really got to looking at it. But then I realized they actually, all the characters are pretty degenerate in The Office. It's a more degenerate show than I first realized. Maybe they needed more Todd Packer. Todd Packer is the Wizard's favorite character. Well, I hope you enjoyed this small item shop. I'm sure you did not. This is The Wizard. We're on every single Friday. Come watch us. Come battle us. It's a real good time. We're on Friday night. The Northeast server. Duos. Battle Royale duos. We fight anybody, anytime. We're in full build. We don't do zero build, even though we don't build. We'll fight you anytime, man. Come fight us. We do a lot more than item shops, but our item shops been getting a lot of hits, so we got to lure the viewers in, and this is what we do. Enjoy your night. We got a horrific snowstorm in New York right now. Wizards hunkered down. Mr.M can't even communicate, so he's not even here. He's lost. He's in the bunker. And hopefully we get through it. Good luck to everybody in New York. Enjoy the snowstorm. Enjoy The Office. I love the show. I was just shocked at what kind of, kind of treatment they do to basically all the characters. All right, this is the Wizard signing off. Enjoy the snow. Bye.